Mm. What is this? It's like a
Okay,
mango
here we
tea.
go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are across the globe. Welcome to On the Sofa with Esther. I haven't done a live in quite a while. I've been doing lots of sort of pre-recordings, but I really felt the need and the desire to do a live interview with this dynamic, I say young lady. Everybody's a young lady to me.
Yes, a lady. I don't know if I want to be young anymore. I'm good.
Or diva called Bernadette Cooper. Bernadette Cooper is let's look at the list. She's a singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, platinum music producer, composer.
Froze.
Entertainer and creator of the number one. So welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome, Esther.
Welcome, welcome. Well, Bernadette, before I go any further, I like to ask my guests, who is Bernadette in a nutshell, in a peanut shell, or a coconut shell? Who is Bernadette Cooper?
Wow. As you said, I'm a writer, producer, engineer. I do kind of self-contained, although I do appreciate other people who come into my life and help me. And I'm just a chick who's out here living her life and living my purpose, you
Mm,
know, to the full extent, you know.
mm. But you've always been someone that lives life to the full extent. You've always been someone that's been out of the box. You've always been someone that made a stand for. You've always been someone that, you went beyond. So what does it mean for someone to be someone of that? I like to use the word effervescent character and nature.
Well, it's a little different because it's it's not, as you say, I don't follow any trends, I create them. So
Mm,
therefore, it takes a little while for people to catch on to what I'm doing, and it takes me a little while to create those things.
mm.
But I'm good. There's a book that I read. It's called The Purple Cow, and it says, "Whatever you do, just be remarkable." And that's what I focus on doing. So I don't know if people love me or they hate me, but they have to say one thing: I look good.
Oh, that's why I was looking forward to this interview because I know that we're going to have
Yes.
some
Yeah, that's
moments.
one thing they have to say. Diva's looking good still. Yeah.
Excellent. And I guess this also comes into the conversation of your latest single called Jealous Bitch, You'll Never Be Me with the original Mary Jane Girls.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. And then I'm going to start to unpeel a bit of your journey, Bernadette. So tell us about that single. Why, when, and how?
And how? It's actually with the original Mary Jane girls, Maxie and Sherry.
Mhm.
And it was introduced to me because we have the same road manager. And he and I were over cocktails. We were talking. His mother is was very popular in the funkadelic Parliament funkadelic era, and he
Mhm.
happened to let me hear a track that she did, Malia Franklin, and I loved it. It was like a really short, snippet of the song. I said, I love that. I want you to send it to me, and I want to work on it and see what I can do. So he sent me
Mhm.
the short snippet, and I started working on it and developing it. And then I asked later if the Mary Jane girls would they be interested in being involved. Mary Jane girls, which is Maxie and Sherry. And he said, all right, I'll approach them with it. And they said, sure. So we got together, and I must say that the original writer of that track is Ron Cat Spearman, who is also in Parliament Funkadelic. So it's a Parliament Funkadelic funk girl vibe, with me. And I thought, why not with the funky ass, Mary Jane girls? And we did it, and it was magic. It came together in the studio, and it's out. And it's pretty much a note to our haters: you'll
Mhm.
never be me. So stop trying. You know, stop trying to be. No.
And Bernadette, what do you think? I mean, this has always been you, like you said, but what is it about being original? What is it about making that stand for your individuality and more so what does it feel like to be a diva? Because I know you use that word quite a lot, because I've interviewed you in terms of, being in the next issue of my magazine, and you use the word diva quite a lot.
Well, I think I brought that name to the music stream. I mean, to the music game. I don't know if there was a lot of diva being used before I came out with Divas Need Love Too. Or I used to see it a lot in my records, but there are different type of divas. I'm diva because I'm original. I'm creating, I'm making change. I'm employing a lot of women who are creative, but I'm on the low, I'm just a really cool person. I don't really go for the designer bags and all of that stuff like that. That's a different kind of a diva. I'm just a diva. I'm a creative diva, in that sense. And what's the other part of your question?
Yes, and the other part, gosh, is what was the other part? What was the other part, people? Come on, you must be listening.
Well, let's just say this. Originality,
Yeah.
I believe you said.
And
I don't know any other
individuality.
way to be. Originality or die, as far as I'm concerned. I have a hard time. It's a mediocrity is my torment. And I can't
Mm,
really follow other people doing their thing. I have to do me whether you like it or not. And that's another thing. There's a book that I follow, which is called The Purple Cow, which
mm,
is like my Bible of keeping me straight and being remarkable. No matter what you do, be original and remarkable. Even if it fails to other people, you'll still be a winner because you're
mm,
doing what you love to do.
mm.
Because if I were to do something someone else did, and even if it became a number one hit, I don't know if I'd be as happy as if it was something that I originally came up with. Like I
Okay.
originally came up with Klymaxx.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was about to go to that because Klymaxx was the first girl band of its kind. And so
Yes.
what what was the what was the sort of thinking behind that? And then you took them to notoriety, and then it just built into something of its own, and not just a name or a brand of its own, but it was a message, I would say, for other women and other girls to, this is who you can be, this is what you can represent, and
Yes. And more. You know, I had two very, very strong women that I was raised by, which was my grandmother and my mother. And they instilled you doing your own thing. You don't need this, you don't need that. You be your own person. So I kind of, being that kind of kid, I kind of took that to heart. And creating Klymaxx, I'm the kind of person who looks around and I see what's missing and I try to fill that gap opposed to doing what everyone else is doing. So
mm,
Klymaxx was something came to my mind because I was a kid who was into music. I knew what my purpose was at a very early age. And I said I want to do an all-female band. So I went through a series of girls until I finally found the ones that made history,
mm.
which are the Klymaxx girls now, which are the ones that exist. I don't want to name them, but they know who they are.
Okay, okay, okay. And for you, is it, I would say it's about the expression of the fullest, isn't it, Bernadette? Because what you're saying, I've had these conversations so many times with people, and lots of people are in fear. So you've from a young age as well, understanding and knowing your purpose from a young age. It wasn't just about expression, it was about bringing together, it was about representation as well. Not a lot of people have that, I would say, that intuitive, if I may use that word, capacity and ability. And so what I'm sensing is, because of how you saw life and how you perceived life and what you did with that, you're you're someone that little girls and other people, women, can look up to say, yes, I can.
Yes.
And because you spoke about your mother and your grandmother being very strong in your life and just goading you to say you can be the best. A lot of
Yes.
people haven't had that as their formative background. So why do you think it's important that we evaluate ourselves and those around us so that we can be the change for others?
Well, we have to break out of this mode of what a woman is supposed to be.
Mhm.
And as I said, I grew up with two strong women who were telling me although men are essential, they're not needed. You could do this by being a woman, strong, loving yourself is the number one key to everything. And I just wanted to inspire young girls, the same way that certain people, certain women, certain musicians, certain artists, female and male, inspired me. So I don't know. I just say that I'm living my purpose. I realized my purpose at a very early age. 5 years old, 6 years old, I kind of realized what I was supposed to be. And I used to get in trouble because I used to stand up in front of everybody and say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sit your little fast ass down. It was that kind of energy. And although I came from two very strong women, I also came from a lot of adversity, so my whole thing is to inspire women, and I love helping women to achieve their goals. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't listen anymore. But they don't want to listen to what another diva has to say. But I'm always here to genuinely inspire other women. The number one thing is to love yourself. That's if you love yourself, a lot of things transpire through that. You don't pick the wrong person out of desperation. You don't, you believe more in yourself that you're able to go to that job and feel your worth and ask for what you feel like you're worth. A lot of things come from just first loving yourself, and everything else comes second.
But I'm going to ask you this question in terms of, because I do a lot of sort of healing work on the other side of the media stuff that I do. And when I talk to a lot of people, just them understanding what is it to love yourself. Can you break that down from your perspective, how you love yourself? What does Bernadette Cooper do to love herself, and how does that show up other than what you've already suggested?
First of all, even though I am selfless and I take care of my mother and I take care of my father, I put me first. And even in doing that, I make sure that I'm able to achieve everything that I need to achieve. I don't really let a lot of negativity into my life. I don't like a lot of negative people into my home, into my life, because that changes who you are when you're around negative energy. I take time to meditate. I take time to focus and try to be the best version of me. I own my bad. I own my good. And I don't let people's when you meet individuals, you really got to do some background investigating and figure out who these individuals are and why they're in your life. And just pretty much being positive and moving forward and loving myself and examining myself. That's the way that I approach life.
Brilliant, brilliant. And those are some good tools and tips. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching On the Sofa with Esther, I'm talking to Bernadette Cooper. And I'm going to go back a little bit to your latest single, Jealous Bitch, You'll Never Be Me, with the original Mary Jane girls. What was it like working together on that? Because it feels a bit like a homecoming.
It was. It was amazing. It was amazing in the sense of, first of all, they are extremely professional. They're very talented. They're very fun. We've all been through the same kind of cycle in the channels of music, growing up and being involved in music in the 80s, being successful. So we knew it was success. So the first time in meeting, it was very natural. It wasn't even difficult. It was very natural. They came with respect for me, and I came with respect for them. And it was wonderful because they're funk. Okay, they came from the original Rick James, the funk land. I'm funk. I came from that era. So the marriage and the coupling of the two, I thought, made for great branding. So we were great. We had the same road managers, so we were able to work. All of us were able to get into the studio and work this thing out and have a common goal, because success comes from when everyone has the common goal. Our common goal was not, oh, we're going to sell 1 million records. That wasn't it. Our common goal was to shock people to see something unusual and to get our names out there, let people know we are still alive, we're looking fabulous, we're doing it. And, you know, people our age, let them know. It ain't the end, baby, it's the beginning. You know, so it was wonderful. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. We keep in touch with each other, we talk. Everything is wonderful.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I'm going to go back a bit in terms of, you know, when Klymaxx was at its peak, when the group was at its peak, what were some of the memorable moments of when you were at your peak? And I guess what did you learn being part of a girl band?
You know, when I look back, I rarely look back. You know, and when I do, things pop up. But I just remember the initial sister bond in the beginning. You know, when it was all for one and one for all. You know, and we would be in the studio on the floor, you know, creating, making songs, you know, creating songs, coming up with ideas, and us were having that hunger to achieve. And then, of course, over time, you know, things change, as you know, as Dick Rivers used to say, you know, everybody's equal in poverty. But as soon as you start making it change, of course I've changed. You know, I grow. I began to grow. But I remember that. I remember touring, you know, getting on that bus with all my 13 bags of luggage, you know, not realizing I didn't need all of that, but I was a home girl. It was my first time away from home, you know, and being on the road and all the things we experienced. We have a lot of wonderful memories. We are a very humorous band. So it was always a kiki, you know. So, and I remember that being the essential, the womanhood, you know, the coming together and creating this. It was real. You know, we grew as a band from nothing to something, you know, and the elevation of us was really, really fabulous. And even though we have our differences at times, we still come together. We have meetings all the time. We talk about, because we still have royalties and things that come up that require our decision making. So we're all together. The only person who's not really inclusive in our business is one of the other members. But we come together and we make things happen. And I love the group. I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't even change the ending, because there had to be an ending. And right around the time when I began producing other groups, it was the right time for me, because I was popular and people wanted me, and it worked. It worked out.
There's so much that's coming out of you and from you about your journey. And as you were talking, even the way the band dressed, presented themselves, it was sexy, it was sassy, and you owned it.
They were my clothes. They were my clothes. I want to put that out there.
Okay. Well, your design.
From the closet of Bernadette Cooper.
But the thing is, you all owned it as well. You owned it in a way where it was still classy. You owned it in a way that was still, you know, you can still see the elegance through the sexiness and the sassiness, but you owned it. And I feel that gave the group the band, apologies, an edge. Would you say?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And once again, that was during the era of, we all had one mind, one focus. So I could say, hey, wear this. I could say, put this on your head. I could say, put this on your head. When it started to change is when the focus and the vibe and the vision of the original version of what it should be started to change. And that's during the time when we started bringing in new members who had a different attitude and a different vibe, and the struggle began to happen, you know, and it started to change. But in the beginning, and what people need to realize is success happens when everyone in that room has the same vision. If you have one person who is not, you know, who's trying to tear it down, you got to get rid of them right away, because they will break up the vision and the vibe of success. You know, and that's very important. And during that time, all for one, one for all.
Brilliant, brilliant. And so in terms of where you are now, other than the single, what else is happening with Bernadette Cooper? What other creative, what should I say, creative magic are you manifesting?
Now you know I'm here until the end, right? Whenever that is, I'm living my purpose. I'm getting ready to release another single coming up soon.
Dare I
And
ask the
I'm
title?
gonna release another single. I'm writing my books. I
Uh-huh.
have I have a series of books that I've been writing for the last 15 years. I'm gonna release them at some point. They're fabulous, okay? And music and touring. I love to tour. So if
Okay.
you see me out there, Bernadette Klymaxx featuring Bernadette Cooper, um, uh, um, the Mary Jane Girls, we're gonna probably do some tours together.
Mhm.
I love to tour. And hey, a clip of my show just went 1.4 million on TikTok. So that's not bad for an old school diva, right?
Not bad at all.
That's
You
not
can
bad.
than me.
Yeah, I'm doing something right.
And I
Yeah.
guess the right thing is you're living. You say you also about you talk about living in your purpose and being genuine and in with integrity to self as well. Because if you can't be integrity to self, then you can't be that around you. And so, what piece of advice would you give to anyone who is maybe just struggling to find their purpose because you had a great um you had a great start in life with two formidable women who
Yeah.
fed into you who you are now, I believe. And so if people are trying to find their way to that place, what is the piece of advice you would say to them in terms of how to get started? Because it's hard sometimes if you don't know, if it's not your
It's
world.
very, you mean in the music business?
In
Or period?
music and also in their personal life.
Well, in the music business, I really have nothing to say because everything has changed. Everything is different, So I can't even. I used to be able to give you advice. This is what you do. This is how you do it, you know. But I will say something about passion. Excuse me. Passion. mm,
Let's do that as well.
Passion does not always equate to money. Okay, people have to understand that. Um, I was fortunate enough to find my passion at an early age. A lot of people have not found their passion
Mm,
because they believe their passion is equates to making money.
mm,
Sometimes you find the businessmen who CEO of companies who make millions of dollars, but the thing that they love to do is on a Sunday morning rent a rehearsal hall and play their drums. You
yes.
know, that's
Mm,
the thing that brings them happiness and brings them joy, and that's their passion. It doesn't always equate. You're
yes.
fortunate if you're able to do what I do when my passion does generate money. But first of all, you have to understand that. Just enjoy your passion.
Mm,
It might be just painting, it might be cleaning, it might be the smallest things, but you have to accept that and understand that, while you're doing your 9 to 5, if you could just take a little time off and enjoy your passion,
absolutely.
no matter if it brings you money or as long as it brings you joy and happiness, that's what's important. Joy and happiness is the most important thing in life.
And
No,
peace.
no matter how you get it. You don't find that with a man. You don't find that with a woman. You find that within yourself. And once you realize, yo, this is what I like to do, this what brings me happiness. And if you do it, then you're on the right path.
Yeah. Brilliant. Brilliant advice because I'm nodding emphatically
Yeah.
because I understand that. And sometimes
Yeah.
on the road to that purpose and passion, it's not always easy, but the main thing is that
No.
you're doing it, you're pursuing it, and you're doing it. And it's
Yes.
and in that space of whether you're drumming or cleaning, you're finding
Yeah.
joy because that's what it's about.
That's what it's about. And you may not be the best singer, but if you love to sing, sing. But don't always think my singing because I love to do it is gonna make me millions. No, you go in your shower and you sing and you be happy and you come out and you cook dinner. And that little small moment of happiness is cool, right? It's cool. I'm just fortunate enough to be living my purpose, and I know it, and I've been able to make a living at it. And I've been doing this over 40 years. You
Mm.
know, I started a girl band in the 80s, and I'm still here, and I'm still going strong. I have fabulous girls in my band, Klymaxx featuring Bernadette Cooper. You know, we go out to slay, okay?
I still
You know,
say it.
and it's all good. Life is wonderful. You know, I just did I had to do a medical examination for my insurance, right? And my blood work was so good. And I was like, wow, what has changed in my life with everything? Happiness, peace. That is the reason why. Eating good, taking care of yourself, you know? And that's the reason why I believe that, you know, I am happy because I do the things that are good for Bernadette. If I may speak in the third person, Bernadette Cooper.
Brilliant, brilliant. I mean, this winds, this conversation down so nicely. I mean, I just want to keep saying to you, um, what other piece of inspiration can you share? Because with creativity is an interesting. I say it's an interesting board of wool. It keeps unraveling, and you just never know what you can do with it, where it's going to go, but it keeps on unraveling,
Listen,
doesn't it?
I'm creative. I'm in every aspect of my life. I may be writing music. I may be writing books. I may be painting my house. I may be changing the floors. I may be, you know, cooking a different kind of meal, you know. But I'm constantly creating because I know that that's my passion. And I wouldn't be able to exist if I wasn't creative. No one can make me happy if I wasn't creative. That is my passion, and that's what I love to do. You do what is best for you. I don't care how small it is. I don't care how large it is. Find your passion. You know, if it's sewing with a needle, if it's whatever it is, and do it and make yourself happy and put yourself first.
Mm. And there is one last question. The diva. Yeah, I gotta go there.
You're not very shy. I know that's hard to believe, but the people around me know.
Okay, so let's just expand on the diva, Bernadette, and I'm just looking to see if there's any messages for us as well. But just expand one last time about, what does it mean to be a diva? What to Bernadette?
To me, what it means to be a diva is just, you know, doing what you love, treating people good, you know, no cheating, no foul, no play. It's just being fabulous and living your life and living your passion. You know, my passion is not a Chanel bag. It's just not. You know, that's I know people think so. In the beginning, you know, I used to wear the designers. I still do, but I'm not living for it. You know,
Mm,
I'm living for happiness and loving myself, continuing to love myself.
mhm.
And as we get older, as I get older, is to show the best version of that for the divas who need that hope and moving on to the next phase of their life.
Brilliant.
That's what a diva is to me.
Brilliant, brilliant. You've coined it, you've wrapped the show up in such a wonderful way. Bernadette, I just want to say a huge thank you for taking the time out. It took us a little time, but also it's about alignment. It's all about
Mhm.
alignment. Wishing you well with your single and all the other wonderful creative things. Be nice to touch base with you in about 3 months to see what else. I am so
All right.
curious. I am
I know
so
I have
curious.
something coming out. I have something coming out that's kind of, you know, every 2, 3, 4 months I'm going to be dropping something. And the thing now, what I'm doing, I'm not trying to please anyone. I'm pleasing myself. Back in the day when I was doing music for companies, you know, I kind of lost myself because I was, you know, getting paid a lot of money to do, and I had to do what they wanted me to do. Now I'm free. So I'm doing what I love to do, and I hope you like the new things that are coming out.
I'm just curious about the title of the next single.
Yeah, it's a little something. It's a little. I won't reveal it, but it's interesting.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to On the Sofa with Esther. I've been talking to Bernadette Cooper, and I hope you've taken away lots of inspiration. And the main thing that I got from this is about individuality, authenticity, creativity, and just finding your purpose, whatever that is. So Bernadette,
Yes.
wishing you a fabulous week. Thank you for the time. And ladies and gents, I will be back in a couple of weeks' time with another incredible artist. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Thank you.
Thank you. And next time I'll do my hair. I'll fix it. I just rolled out of bed, but next time I'll fix my hair for you.
That's okay.
Okay.
That's okay, because there's going to be another time. Thank you, Bernadette.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye. Thank you, Esther.
Thank you.